In recent years, the popularity of MMA has skyrocketed, surpassing boxing and other combat sports. The net worths of MMA fighters are beginning to underscore that fact as well. So who are the world's richest MMA fighters? With the information gathered from Celebrity Net Worth and Forbes, we have compiled a list of 20 of the world's richest MMA fighters and their current net worth. Michael Bisping, $9 million. Not only is Michael Bisping a retired mixed martial artist and a former UFC middleweight champion, but he's also a commentator, sports analyst, actor, and a recent UFC Hall of Famer. His net worth in 2021 was estimated at about $9 million. Jose Aldo, $9 million. The Brazilian MMA fighter Jose Aldo was WEC's fourth and final WEC featherweight champion. When WEC and UFC merged, he was crowned the club's first featherweight champion. In 2021, his net worth was estimated to be $9 million. Junior dos Santos, $10 million. With a $10 million net worth in 2021, the next richest MMA fighter is Brazilian UFC star and former UFC heavyweight champion Junior dos Santos. In 2021, he peaked fourth in the UFC heavyweight rankings. JON BONES JONES, $10 million. Next on the richest MMA fighters list is the three-time UFC light heavyweight champion Jon Jones. The American fighter was once removed from the UFC rankings and stripped of the privilege of competing there due to hit-and-run felonies. He was, however, reinstated in 2015 and would go on to win the light heavyweight title in 2017. He could not stray from controversy, however, as JON BONES JONES tested positive for performance-enhancing substances. By 2021, regardless of status, Jones had an estimated net worth of $10 million. Chael Sonnen, $10 million. A former member of the WEC, Pancrase and UFC organization, the American MMA fighter Chael Sonnen, with an estimated $10 million net worth, is up next. As of 2021, he competes in the light heavyweight division with the Bellator MMA organization. Frank Mir, $11 million. Another American currently competing for Bellator MMA is Frank Mir, with an estimated 2021 net worth of $11 million. Before switching to fight in Bellator, Mir spent 16 years in the UFC, where he held the UFC heavyweight title and is the reigning leader for the number of fights, submissions, and wins in the organization's history. Ronda Rousey, $12 million. Up next is the only female mixed martial arts fighter on this list, Ronda Rousey. Her net worth is $12 million, and aside from being a martial artist, she is an actress and a judoka. She started her career as a judo competitor until she transitioned to the UFC. She would go on to win 12 consecutive matches, as well as capture the UFC Women's Bantamweight Championship title. QUINTON Rampage Jackson, $12 million. Formerly a professional wrestler, QUINTON Rampage Jackson is next up on our list. Jackson is an American mixed martial artist and actor who is worth $12 million as of 2021. In his acting career, Jackson has starred in several movie roles, and as a UFC competitor, he has also won the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. Chuck Liddell, $14 million. Longtime fans of UFC are well familiar with the Iceman Chuck Liddell. Liddell had retired from the sport after competing for years in the UFC, as well as attaining the title of UFC Light Heavyweight Champion. At an estimated net worth of $14 million, Liddell retired from the UFC, but will forever be ingrained into the UFC memories as a member of the UFC Hall of Fame, an honor bestowed upon him in 2009. Tito Ortiz, $15 million. With a net worth of $15 million, Jacob Christopher Ortiz, better known to UFC fans as Tito Ortiz, the American is now a retired mixed martial artist. He's not just one of the richest MMA stars in the world, he is a former UFC light heavyweight champion and an extremely popular personality in the MMA niche, holding the honor of being one of the biggest pay-per-view draws in UFC's history. Randy Couture, $17 million. Randy Couture, with a net worth of $17 million, is not just a retired MMA competitor, but an actor and a former United States Army sergeant. During his UFC career, he won 6 titles and was one of only 3 fighters to ever win a championship across multiple weight divisions. The other 2 are BJ Penn and Conor McGregor. Wanderlei Silva, $18 million. Wanderlei Silva is an MMA competitor originally from Brazil who has competed in the UFC as well as Japan's Pride Fighting Championships, where he fought in the middleweight division and is the record holder for the longest winning streak, number of victories, and most title defenses in league history. As the 9th richest MMA fighter in the world, his 2021 estimated worth was roughly $18 million. FEDOR EMELIANENKO, $18 million. Next up is the $18 million worth Bellator MMA Championship fighter, judoka, and sambo expert from Russia, FEDOR EMELIANENKO. Currently competing in the Bellator MMA Championship League, FEDOR EMELIANENKO has earned multiple impressive accolades. These include the competitor in the 2000-2010 Fight of the Decade, Fighter of the Year, the Heavyweight of the Year, the Submission or Beatdown of the Year winner in 2008, as well as being credited for the Knockout of the Year in 2009. Anderson Silva, $18 million. Another Brazilian mixed martial artist is next on the list as the 7th richest MMA fighter in the world. This time it's former UFC middleweight champion Anderson Silva. To this day, Silva holds the UFC's longest winning streak with 16 consecutive wins, 10 of them defending his title. His net worth in 2021 was an estimated $18 million. BJ Penn, $22 million. Joining Randy Couture in the exclusive club of winners of championships across multiple divisions is an American professional MMA fighter with a specialty in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, formerly carrying both the welterweight and the lightweight UFC championships. In 2021, his net worth was an estimated $22 million. Brock Lesnar, $28 million. Brock Edward Lesnar is a world-renowned professional wrestler with over 20 years of competition on and off with the WWE. Before the WWE, he played American football professionally, and while he took several years away from the squared circle, he went to the UFC and became the UFC heavyweight champion. All things considered, Brock Lesnar is certainly one of the most successful, richest, and most versatile former UFC competitors, with a stunning net worth of $28 million. Georges St-Pierre, $30 million. Widely regarded as one of UFC's best all-time fighters, Canadian mixed martial artist Georges St-Pierre held the UFC welterweight championship on 3 separate occasions. With such accolades, no one should be surprised that he is also extremely rich, having an estimated 2021 net worth of $30 million. Khabib Nurmagomedov, $30 million. The 3rd richest MMA fighter in the world is Russian Khabib Nurmagomedov. He holds the accomplishments of not just being a 2-time combat sambo world champion, he was very recently the UFC lightweight champion holder as well. He is one of the only MMA fighters to go through his career, retiring in 2020 without ever tasting defeat, establishing the longest 29 matches winning streak in MMA history. RORIAN GRACIE, $50 million. The 2nd richest MMA competitor in the world is RORIAN GRACIE, a Brazilian-American Jiu-Jitsu grandmaster, lecturer, producer, writer, publisher, and most notably the UFC co-founder. There aren't many people in the world who hold a 9th degree red belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but RORIAN GRACIE is one of them. He also introduced Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to the world. It's no wonder he's estimated to be worth a stunning $50 million. Conor McGregor, $110 million. Even those who are not regular MMA fans are familiar with the name of Bad Boy Conor McGregor. McGregor is a professional mixed martial artist competing in the UFC. He doesn't just score at the top of this list as the richest MMA fighter in the world with a net worth of $110 million, he rounds out the 3 fighters, along with Penn and Couture, to win titles between multiple weight classes. Over the last few years, he has truly become a sensation, transcending MMA. Interestingly, most of Conor McGregor's net worth wasn't from his MMA career, but from his boxing debut against infamous boxer Floyd Mayweather.
Bringing you more value per minute than any other entrepreneurial channel out there. or at least trying to. We would appreciate if you at least subscribe, like, and share this video. That would mean the world to us.